Hi everyone, and welcome to another segment of astrologyanswers.com's weekly horoscope. My name is Terence Guardino. While the week begins on Monday, August the 6th, and this is a very eventful week. There is a lot going on. Plus the fact that this is the last week before the next new moon on Saturday. And next Saturday, August the 11th, is a new moon solar eclipse. There was a solar eclipse, as recall, last month, which is highly unusual, creating a lot of instability on the planet. Now, always the week before a new moon, and especially before a solar eclipse, it's more of this winding down. But the rule of thumb is not to make any really important decisions the week before to the week after a solar eclipse. Now, this is also, as I talked at length in last week's video, Mercury and Mars are still retrograde. So there's still a lot of this nervousness, anxiousness, jumping to conclusions, miscommunications. So you're going to keep that in mind. Keep pacing yourself. Don't make any really important decisions. Now let's start with on Monday. The Sun is in hard angle to expansive Jupiter. You might actually be starting the week feeling really optimistic, like what could go wrong? Now, this could be good for traveling, and maybe going on a vacation would be a good thing to get away from all of this day-to-day kind of craziness that could affect our work. But some good news is that diplomatic, compromising, harmonious Venus is entering Libra on Monday for the entire month. And this helps us bring more balance and more fair-mindedness with relationships. So that's a positive. Maybe this basically means after all the stress recently that most of the world is just calming down and pacing and taking it day to day and trying to be a little bit more diplomatic. On Tuesday, Venus is pleasure-seeking, creative Venus is going to be excellent with Mars, but Mars is retrograde. Now, this could stir up a lot of passion, creatively, romantically, but with the Mercury in retrograde and Mars retrograde, if it's something new, take it with a grain of salt. But it could be a reconnection, particularly with Mercury retrograde, and now this Venus to Mars retrograde. Some of you may be reconnecting to an old or previous lover, personal relationship. And for artists, you may be pulling a project off the shelf that you put away a while ago and now you're reinvigorating. So it's, it's dusting off, cleaning up the project, and it's not something new, just getting back on board. On Wednesday, Mercury retrograde is aligning with the Sun. So this can be a lot of brainstorming ideas, but it could be good for reconciling, re-editing, reviewing, having conversations to kind of clear up anything that might have been went off track. On Thursday, Venus will be in a difficult square aspect to Saturn. This hard angle of Venus to Saturn will happen 4 times a year. So it doesn't happen very often. It will test relationships. The weak ones will show its problems, or could break apart, particularly with the Mercury in retrograde. But it can also just mean that you're separated from your loved one. They're on a business trip. You're carted off with your family on a vacation, leaving their girlfriend, boyfriend behind. So it doesn't have to be a breakup or some kind of tension in a relationship. You just might be feeling a little bit lonely or disconnected. And on Friday, even going into Saturday with that solar eclipse on Saturday, communication Mercury is retrograde and in a hard angle to Jupiter. Initially, Mercury-Jupiter is about feeling overly optimistic, really wanting to expand, make long-range plans, get on that plane and take off. But the Mercury's in retrograde, and so you could have overblown expectations. You could be on such a high, expecting too much, and then be disappointed if it doesn't all turn out as you had hoped it would. So you want to, again, keep your feet grounded, be realistic, maybe ask somebody else's opinion of what's going on as we go into Saturday with this new moon solar eclipse in the sign of Leo. And if you should have a birthday around the 11th or the 12th, this is also going to be, that solar eclipse is part of your birthday chart for the year, and which would happen about every 19 years, indicating some significant new opportunity in the coming months. Before I sign off, I want to remind you I'm available for a one-question offer. You can find a direct link to request your question, on a link in the description box underneath the video. You may have to scroll all the way down to find the link. So before, I just want to thank you for tuning in. I hope you tune in next week with my next segment. And still again, this is a very eventful week. A lot of excitement and instabilities. Just keep breathing, pacing yourself, and this too shall pass.